It's time for all your binge-worthy pop culture news. Welcome to Up and Adam.
Hi, guys. Welcome back and happy Thursday. We're almost to the weekend, but not just yet. We have a few other things we need to cover. We're back to talk about the Vanderpump Rules episode last night and recap it with none other than Sarah and Holly from the Vanderpump Rules Party Podcast. Now, these ladies are absolutely killing it. I felt like this was just, I knew, and we haven't even done this yet, I knew this was going to be such a great collaboration. And yesterday, I was going through my feed on Instagram, and I saw that they were actually at the courthouse when Scheana was there trying to, I guess, deal with the Rachel of it all. So I'm not going to chime in on this anymore. I'm going to bring them up to do that. But before we jump in, you guys know how this works. If you haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed. Don't forget to hit that notification bell and let us know what you would rate this week's episode. Welcome, Holly and Sarah. Hi, ladies.
Hi.
That's like a minute-long intro. I'm sorry.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
I'm so excited, and I have to pick your brain on everything that happened yesterday. So you showed up to the courthouse to figure out what was going on with the restraining order. What made you decide to do this?
Well, I mean, Rachel last week, fake served Scheana with papers via Andy at the reunion saying she was going to dismiss it and, no need to show up, but it was never cleared off the calendar. So we were always going to go to support Scheana, but it seemed like it was going to be taken off the calendar, but we were checking the court docket, it was still on. So knowing Scheana, you just want to dot your I's, cross your T's and make sure, what if Rachel changed her mind the night before and said, you know what, I guess I'm not going to dismiss it. And if Scheana hadn't shown up, it would not have been a good situation for her, a no-show, and they could have been granting her the permanent order. So we wanted to make sure that, we captured just in case there was any last-minute changes and also just show support for Scheana and everyone there. So it was raining. It was interesting with the paparazzi outside in the rain with their trying to manage their cameras and their umbrellas. They did close down the whole courthouse. They put up signs just for this: no filming, no cameras, anything. And then as soon as we left, they were taking him down. So they hired extra security, extra media communication teams to put up these signs and manage the people coming in.
Wow.
To handle this celebrity type situation, which they do from time to time.
The high profile case. It was a high profile, they said.
Wow. Okay. And which is wild because, I spoke with Scheana about this all like before the restraining order was actually filed. I'm sorry. Fired. I'm thinking about Rachel being fired, but I doubt she will be. I spoke with her before it was actually filed, and I said to her when everyone was coming out, when major media outlets, when they were saying Scheana punched Raquel, and I was like, Scheana, I've seen you in so many situations where you could have popped off. I've never seen you hit. Did you hit her? And she's like, no, I didn't hit her. I said, well, if she's putting this out there and she's claiming you hit her, this is probably going to continue on and turn into something else. And she's probably going to make this a bigger thing. She's like, I don't think that that's going to happen. And then boom, here we are. It turned into a bigger thing. So I think it was great to see that she came out on top yesterday. And it is an interesting, the way that you said that, like if Raquel had Andy serve her with this paper that really had no legal merit, like Scheana's attorney said, right, and kind of tried to get her to be like, okay, well, you don't have to show up to court. But if she showed up to court anyways, that could have been like a tricking Scheana. But I think that she has a really good attorney. I think her attorney is like a powerhouse guy.
Yeah, we got to see him in action yesterday. We talked to he had his own publicist there, so we chatted with him a bit. He seemed to have it under control, and he issued a statement right after too. So it'll be interesting to see if they pursue anything, based on just defamation, because if you think about it, this could really affect Scheana's livelihood. If she has any kind of violence on her record, that's increasing insurance liabilities for production crews, that sort of thing. So this could have done damage to her career as well as her personal reputation.
And I think that people actually, I would have never thought about the insurance or anything like that. I just thought about, her daughter one day is going to have to she's going to grow up and she is going to have to explain the situation. And I thought about it in that perspective, but not necessarily. I mean, there are so many ramifications from this, right? Had she have actually been, well, had this have went the other way, I guess.
Yeah.
Oof. Okay. So I know I asked the live chat, but I want to hear from you ladies. What did you think about last night's episode?
It was a little fillery for me. It wasn't that exciting. There've been better episodes.
There
I
have been
think,
better-
yeah, and we're on such of a high of all of the stuff that's going on the outside. So watching back an episode that, yeah, was a little fillerish was like, ugh, like I wanted more Easter eggs, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, so you're still looking at it through the different lens, hoping that we can find some little tidbits?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's hard not to. Like, even last night, you saw wherever they were walking into, maybe Schwartz and Sandy's, Ariana walked in with Logan. And prior to that, it was Raquel and Sandoval walking in together. So that's kind of, I know it's normal for them. Logan's Ariana's best friend. They're always together. But it was just weird editing the way Sandoval and Raquel walk in and then Ariana and Logan. So
I know. And then watching her, because Ariana has she has such a big heart and she's always so sweet to everyone. So even watching in the episode where she's like, guys, no fighting. And also sticking up for Raquel and talking about how excited she is to go to Mexico and have some alone time with Tom because he has this band going on. He has Schwartz and Sandy. So now she really gets to spend some time with him. And then just seeing the fact that he's like, hey, Dumplin', and making out with her when they first get into the room, knowing that you are currently at this time hooking up with Raquel, because Raquel, I mean, listen, was anybody in the room with them? No, but at this point, I feel like we can call a spade. And Raquel disappeared from the, bridal party. She left for 3 hours. She just wanted to have some Raquel time and sit in the pool.
Yeah. This Saddle Ranch thing that Jamie talked about was August 5th. This was before this wedding. So it was, most likely very well underway. I think it was Coachella, and whoever saw them got the wrong Tom, or they told someone they thought, well, no, it has to be Schwartz. He's divorced. Sandoval would never. So I think that was Sandoval has confessed now, saying we had an initial little thing, but then didn't act on it going, for a while. So I think maybe that rumor was true. It's just the wrong Tom. Then they didn't do anything for a few months, and then the sparks just grew, and they imploded July, early August.
Yeah, I almost kind of wonder if it was even happening before then. Just because I had a very awkward, I talked about this on our members only, but I had a very awkward interaction with Raquel at BravoCon. And it's not like it was the first time that I've ever spoken with her, met her. And it was just strange. And now it makes a little bit more sense based off of our conversation. But thinking back, I'm like, all of these different cast members who have come forward and they've talked about it on their podcast, or they've mentioned it on Watch What Happens Live, like Jax Taylor, Lala, Scheana, everyone, they all kind of seem to think that Ariana is a strong, independent woman. It's not that they think that she is, but that Tom chose to do this with maybe Raquel because she's kind of like a yes man. She's enamored. She started off as a fan. She thinks that he can do no wrong. She just loves the fact that you're going to wear white nail polish and just be like wild out there, and then you're going to dress in drag. Oh my gosh, wow. He's so confident in who he is. And it's really kind of sad.
Yeah. I mean, she had that with James, but I think as she got to know James, she realized, maybe James isn't as confident internally as he is externally, right? You can see him have moments of, reflection and whatnot. So maybe she sees Sandoval as her bigger path to bigger stardom.
Right. Speaking of James, I wanted to bring this up because this was a very, this was an interesting episode for him. I actually saw, and I don't care, honestly, I'm going to say whatever I want. So I went to the Vanderpump Rules premiere party in February, and I went to Scheana's house to go record, sort of like I flew in for Shenanigans, her podcast, and for the party. And then I was like, if I'm coming here for this, I love to work and I love what we do. So I'm like, can I just maybe stop by your house, Scheana, and catch you getting ready for glam? And she's like, yes, but Ali is also going to be at my house. So I start talking with them and I'm just asking her questions, and we had a fun vlog. And I said to Ali, I said, since you started off as a fan of the show, is it crazy for you to kind of now it's almost like you manifested it. You were a fan of the show and now you're on the show.
Yeah.
By the way, I loved when James's mom was like, this is more authentic. The way you met Raquel with the DJ, that's not authentic. I'm like,
oh my God.
It's the same thing.
I'm like, it's literally the same thing. And his mom is such a sweetheart. But getting back to it,
Yeah, we watched them meet that night. And yeah, it was definitely.
Oh, were you there that night?
Yeah, we watched them first meet. He was talking to one of our friends and kind of flirting with her. And then we saw the Ali interaction and them meet up. And yeah.
Wow, you ladies are everywhere.
Yeah, we're tired.
No. You're like, we're ready. Season 10 has been great. We wrap it in May, June, and then we get a little bit of a break. So this will be good.
We got up at 4:30 yesterday for the courthouse and the commute in the rain. So that was fun, but no, all worth it.
Yeah, for sure. And we all appreciate you being right up there on the front lines of the scandal. But no, it was true. Like when I asked the fan question, I guess I must have hit a nerve because I just thinking like, I've known James for 10 years and I thought, hey, I have a really solid kind of friendship with him in the sense that when it's not like we don't talk every day, but when I see him, it's, hey man, how are you? We had a great time at BravoCon. And nice. I walked up to him at the party and I said, hey, how's it going? And he's like, I just want to talk to you real quick. And I was like, okay. He's like, I just want to correct something really quick. You call my girlfriend a fan. She's not a fan, bro. You have to get that right. She's not a fan. Don't call her a fan. And I at that point, I was kind of clapping back a little bit in the sense that, wait a minute. He said, I know that Scheana put this in your head. I'm like, Scheana didn't put that in my head. You went on Give Them Lala podcast. And you said, when Lala asked you, was she a fan? You said, of course she's a fan. Who's not a fucking fan? It's the greatest show on on TV.
Yeah.
So you said that, not me. And it kind of calmed him down a little bit, but I haven't seen him so reactive in a long time. And then last night's episode, I was like, oh, is it? I don't know.
Yeah.
Is it? So I wanted to ask you ladies, do you think that the drinking might have anything to do with the bigger reactions and the behavior?
Yeah, I mean, it affects you chemically and, physically, and especially he'd been sober for so long, it's going to affect him more. So certainly, I think his feelings are still hurt over Raquel, though, breaking it off. It's an ego thing for anyone to be the dumpy, but especially since he was someone responsible for all of her journey, like where she's at in stardom on the show. Now she has adopted all of his friends that were his friends. Like, I think it's a combination of all of that. Like, in his mind, you were nothing without me. Now you've taken my friends. You've dumped me. That plus drinking is just a snowball.
Yeah, that's all James has ever wanted, is to be included in this group and be invited to all of the things. And they've really taken Raquel under their wings, especially Tom and Ariana. And I feel like James, especially even when they weren't filming or when they were filming, he was silent on social media this year. He was really quiet and not included in the group. And this is his feelings being hurt in this whole episode. You're seeing the side eyes that he's giving when they're giving Raquel attention. Yeah, his feelings are hurt for sure.
Right. And I can totally understand. And I also feel like what I love about this show would be the contradictions of it all, or the hypocrisy, because when you came into the group with Kristen, and like Scheana said on the podcast, it was very, he knew he was going to hook up with Kristen. I remember being at Scheana's house for her Christmas party, and we talked about this on the podcast. Everybody was sitting around watching Vanderpump Rules, and it was when I first moved to LA, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's what we're on the show. We watched the show. What about White Elephant, guys? What about the gift exchange? This isn't how we do it in Tennessee or Florida. But, James came up to me, and he was a busser at the time. And he said, I'm going to be on the show next year. And, right now I'm hooking up with Kristen. And he kind of hooked up to get on the show. He knew that he had a mission, and Kristen was sort of an easy target. And then when all of that fell apart, everyone sort of ostracized Kristen, and they kind of took James in a little bit. And now we're seeing it happen again, except he's on the other side of the fence.
True.
Not probably the best place to be. But Danielle, thank you so much for the super sticker. I want to also just ask you too, when it comes to the whole, like, we have the situation with Lala and she's talking to James. And I think that Lala and James have always had a pretty solid relationship, right? Except for when she was maybe with Randall, and that's when things got a little bit weird. But I was reading on Twitter last night where some people, let's pan over to Villa Rosa, when she's sitting down with Lisa and James, some people felt like she was being too preachy in her sobriety with the way that she was talking to James. But other people feel like it's coming from a genuine place of, hey, man, you just need to cool it down a little bit. This is going to live on TV forever. You're not going to like when you watch this back. How did you ladies feel about that?
I felt like that's how James talks, and it's kind of why we love him on reality TV. He says the stuff that kind of we're all thinking, he brought up the Brock stuff again, and Lala went and defended him about that, and was like, you're out of pocket right now, knock it off. Yeah, don't stop talking about that. But his comments throughout this entire episode, like, although they're like offensive, it's kind of funny. And I don't know how I feel about the whole sobriety, the alcohol is the problem thing. They've done this a lot on the show, and we've gone on the journeys with all of them. So it is interesting, and I love seeing that path. So yeah, if I were looking at it, I would say James should stop the drinking, because he starts saying stuff that, yeah, he's not going to be happy watching it back.
But we've seen both James and Lala have their non-sober moments and their sobriety moments, and a lot of times their anger is still there in their sober moments. So I think it's a combination. They have anger management issues too, the way they pop off sometimes.
Yes.
And that's sober. So I mean, I know we've heard some of the producers talk on podcasts in the past that James is kind of a dream, because he doesn't even recognize that the cameras are there. He forgets. He's very true and authentic and in the moment. And that's why he'll be sobbing to Lisa or saying horrible, inappropriate things, body shaming things, because he's not thinking about the cameras, which is great for reality TV. However, he's got to face consequences of the words that come out of his mouth without thinking. Because
it is kind of like a producer's dream, right? Like, oh, okay, you're going to act now and impulsively, and then you're going to have to face it again. So not only are we getting this moment, we're going to get the social media moments. If you are a mess on Twitter, which I don't think James is, but sometimes we, especially with our housewives, you do occasionally get one who is a mess on Twitter. And then from there, we have to relive this at the reunion where you're going to pop off again. So yes, I feel like they live for this. And it's just interesting to me. And, I know that I'm kind of all over the place with the episode and everything that we're talking about. But since you're on here and you ladies have been so heavily following this, I wanted to get your thoughts on Kristen coming back and filming a scene with Ariana, and also James and Brittany doing press, and really, yes, they're promoting their podcast, but the majority, how sometimes they give us the graphs of like what the reunion looks like, and it's like 32% of the reunion was James talking, 10% was Ariana. You know what I mean? I feel like the majority of the press interviews that they're doing are about Ariana and Tom, and not necessarily about the podcast. And I wanted to kind of pick your brains. Do you feel like they're sort of riding this out and becoming a little bit more relevant because of all of it? Or no, they have a leg to stand on because they've actually been in it?
Both. A lot of the comparisons that they've been making with Tom and Ariana involve Jax. Jax and Faith, and Kristen and Jax. So it's relevant. It's totally different situations. But so he does have a right to like weigh in on the situation, especially being with Sandoval during Sandoval's previous cheating allegations, Jax being right there. So I think it's relevant. I think it's good timing. I think they have been planning this podcast, but maybe they sped up the launch a little bit to coincide and maximize the exposure right now, especially with Andy. I don't think Andy Cohen was going to have them on to promote Jax's villain show or their podcast. I think Andy saw the ratings after Scheana and Rachel, after Lisa Vanderpump. He's been pulling in huge Watch What Happens Live ratings. I think he knew pulling in Jax and Brittany would, and he was talking with Jax throughout the scandal. I think he knew that would bring in good ratings because no one's seen or heard from them for several years. And because it's so relevant to this specific situation that, yeah, I think that's why they are around, and they're smart enough to maybe capitalize while the iron's hot.
Yeah. I mean, even Stassi with the Mommy Dearest tour, it's like, here we are. We're going to, but to be fair, she had her dates planned before she knew a Scandival was happening. So I will give Stassi that. For you ladies, when you see like now James going on, and he was one of the first to put out the comments like, this is sick. This is so disgusting, talking about Raquel and Tom. How do you feel about this huge reaction that everyone had to the Scandival as opposed to all of the other cheating moments that we've had on the show? Because I mean, I've never seen like CNN turn Vanderpump Rules into a tab, like it really just got, I was talking to one of the housewives about this. It got so out of control. And there was part of me, while yes, Raquel, like this was such an awful thing to do, especially to one of your best friends, a woman who was like, oh, you don't really have a place to go on Thanksgiving, come stay at my house, and always having her so close and treating her with nothing but kindness.
Yeah.
I thought that the reactions were so big, and it could kind of be alarming because who knows? You never know what someone is struggling with or how they're going to react. And sometimes people do harmful things in moments like this.
That was the first thing that within the hour this story broke, not because I felt empathy for her, but I did instantly say, I am potentially worried about Raquel's mental health because this is about to be really bad for her. We saw what it did to Faith. We've talked to Faith several times. Faith took the whole brunt of it, all of the blame. So if they follow in that tradition, Raquel was going to take the brunt of it. And, she doesn't come off as the most confident, person. So it could maybe really, she said she struggled with, issues, and doing pageants has helped build her confidence. So if you're already a little fragile, having the world hate you could really be a scary place to be. So I was worried about that. She seems to be handling it okay. But also the blame has been, I feel like she's still getting it more. We like to point the woman pointed at the like Kristen got it more than Jax, Faith got it more than Jax, but there is more on the Sandoval side. But I think why it's so different is besides the dual betrayal. I mean, we were at the Sandoval show in December, and Raquel and Ariana walked in together. We said hello to them together, and then Raquel came over and danced with us and Brett when we got those videos, when Sandoval grabs her phone and Ariana's right there. And looking back in hindsight, it's so disgusting because it's just betrayal in your face. But then Sandoval has always portrayed more of a hero, right? And Jax always plays a villain. So we expect the villain to villain. We don't expect the hero to villain. So that's why I think there was just 3 different betrayals. The hero's no longer the hero, the Ariana Raquel, the Ariana Tom. It's like a triple betrayal.
Wow. And Holly, I'm guessing you agree with that.
I do, yeah. I was thrown off because being at all those events, like Sarah said, I had my camera. I took those videos. I was in Raquel's face. I was standing next to Ariana, and I saw nothing. Like nothing led me to believe that something was going on. So I literally thought, I was like, there's no way, like this is fake. I did not believe it. And so I was completely blindsided. Like I thought it was about Schwartz. I was looking at Schwartz as the problem. And so going back through my footage and finding all of this stuff from, January, November, it was just like, it was crazy. So I'm still like partially not sold on the whole thing. Like I need more info. I need info on everything. Like I need to know all the details. So, yeah.
It's interesting that Holly also got, but we didn't really pay much attention to it at the time, was Raquel and Ariana were also there with Joe, Schwartz's girlfriend. So we have lots of videos of her, but we weren't paying that much attention because we were thinking Raquel and Schwartz, not Raquel and Sandoval. We thought they were just good friends. So
which
crazy.
Is even more sick because then you have these 2 friends who it's like jokes on Ariana and
yes,
yeah,
horrible.
It's crazy.
Yes. Oh, okay. Now, do you think as they continue to push forward, because in the Bravo world, normally for cast members, like Phaedra Parks was not fired after the whole Candy Dungeon thing on Atlanta, right? But nobody wanted to film with her. So then there she goes. Brandi Glanville, same thing. Everyone started to refuse to film with her. So if nobody wants to film with you, what is production going to do when the entire cast says absolutely not and they stand their ground? And now I'm wondering if they decide to continue on with this relationship, and cameras are going to be picking up in the next, I believe, month and a half, 2 months. I mean, they haven't been greenlit, but we know they're going to get greenlit. The ratings are through the roof. And normally they start filming right before the summer. It's usually in May or June. So with them picking up the cameras, if Tom's in a relationship with Raquel, are we just going to see Raquel in the same capacity that we maybe see Brock? Like it's kind of just with Scheana and she's going to be just with Tom?
Or do you think they would possibly bring on Joe? Do you think as like a friend, to do something with that? Like the roommate situation, Schwartz and his roommate, Raquel goes over there. I don't know. I was thinking possibly they could bring her on.
That could, I mean, listen, even Charlie kind of acts as that filler. I never understood why she was brought onto the show until now. It makes more sense because I always was curious if they were going to try to do some sort of spinoff, and they were until everyone got canceled and fired.
Yeah.
And they were trying to bring in a younger cast because it didn't make sense anymore for the viewers for these people to be moving in $2 million homes, but you're still bartending at Sir. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
fans were too smart for this.
Charlie's no longer friends with Raquel, so and she's not desperate to be on the show either. So I don't think she would fake a friendship with Raquel to get a bigger role on the show.
She did paddleboard yoga with Katie this week. That was
her and Katie are friends.
I was like, how did that even fit into the episode though? They really just threw that in. It was a little
it doesn't make
random.
much sense after Havasu. They had a little thing and then they're
Yes, they don't talk about it and they're doing handstands on like a paddleboard. So
yeah, well, that kind of makes me believe that it was like the way that they edited. You know how sometimes they'll take something from like 2 weeks before and they'll put it after something that happened 3 weeks after. And then it's like, okay, now we have filler moments. It's like the Kardashians, like 55% of the episode is B-roll over Los Angeles and and then we get like these little moments put in. And that's what I felt like I was sort of watching last night.
Me
but
too.
I'm so excited though to see Scheana's wedding and see how this is going to happen. I think that's going to be a moment. How did you both react when Katie was like, I can't get my money back. And Scheana's like, I don't want your negative energy at my wedding. And she's like, well, sorry, girl, can't get my money back. I spent $1,000. And I'm like, well, production spent $1,000. We're not silly. We know how this works. And 2, Scheana just literally called your bluff and said, hey, I will pay you right now. Like I will literally Venmo you.
And her face, like literally, she didn't know what to say to that. It was just like, her face was like this and they moved on because she had no answer to that. It was like.
Because she can't say, I want to film. I need the pay.
Yeah.
I'm getting
I need to be in this episode, Scheana.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't think Katie's one of the few who doesn't have to worry about being on. Katie's not paid a day rate.
Okay.
She's total salary. So whether she went or not, I mean, did production probably push her to be there because it would have given us more content? Yeah, absolutely. But I love the little boss move that Scheana was like, okay, you're X'd off the preferred list. You're not going to be over there. I don't want you on my side of the tower of the resort. And she's like, if you want to play, let's play.
Yeah. That was funny. That was a twist I wasn't expecting.
The tower was perfect.
Yeah.
And then also Christina Kelly showing up. When Lala started on the show, I left at the time. I actually trained her for, I think, a week at Sir. And then I remember texting her. We laughed about this at BravoCon. I texted her and I was like, hey, Lala, can you cover my shift tonight? And she's like, I can't do this shit. I cannot do this job. I'm not meant to be a host. I'm getting on a private jet right now and I am leaving. And I was like, what? I was like, so are you ever coming back? She's like, no, I'm gone. And I ended up moving away. I met my now husband and I left and I moved to Thailand for a little bit. And I don't know. I was going through my own little journey and lo and behold, come back. And here comes the Vanderpump Rules trailer with Lala shoving Kristen at the time. And I'm like, okay, she's back. So I just in my mind, I was like, what is this? Now, Christina Kelly was always that sort of person for me too, because I remember her and she was always super sweet at Sir. And she was on the show, yes, with Stassi as a friend, but she was never that main person. And then
Right.
boom, we just insert her right back into the show. And I'm like, if viewers, depending on how smart the viewers are or how much they're willing to dissect what's actually going on with this within these dynamics, it was very clear that producers were sort of grasping for enough people to be there for Katie. And Lala wasn't enough because if Lala switches it up on her, Katie's on an island, and Charlie she's not prominent enough of a role, and the fans aren't as invested in her for her to be the only person that Katie can lean on.
Yeah, and they did this with Kristen Doty when everyone refused to film with her after the Jax thing, so they brought on Rachel O'Brien because she needed someone to film with. So Miami Girl, there's Rachel with Kristen, and there's several other scenes like that. So for sure, that's why they did that for Katie. They just came from Stassi's wedding with Jeremiah. Christina and Katie roomed together. They traveled together. Jeremiah's like, oh, why don't we have Christina? You know, they were all there. They saw, okay, Christina was maybe ready to.
Are you talking about producer Jeremiah?
Yeah.
Mhm.
You guys are really in this.
Yeah.
You know,
well, he was
everyone.
at Stassi's wedding with Christina and Katie. There's only like 30 people. So the bell probably went off for him there. Like, oh, this could work. Here's someone for Katie. It makes sense. She has the history.
Interesting. So, funny little tidbit story since you know everyone. Logan, who's Ariana's best friend, right?
Mm-hmm.
We started TomTom together, and when we did, Jeremiah was in there. And normally, what they do before they start a new season is they'll bring the producers into the different restaurants and they observe. They observe the dynamics, and I don't know. It's a little strange. But I was at BravoCon. This is after Logan and I have a really strange banter where people just think that we hate each other, but we don't. We're really good friends. And he'll walk up and he'll be like, God, how are you aging so much in like 3 years? You look like you've aged like 10. And I'm like, yeah. And you're still wearing the exact same pants that you were 3 years ago. And you know what I mean? Like that's our banter. And I didn't even realize who Jeremiah was at the time because I wasn't paying attention. I was never intending to try to be on the show. We just made really great money at the restaurants because it's kind of like a cash grab in the sense that people come all the time because they love Lisa and they come there just excited, wanting to buy drinks, food, merchandise. So it was pretty exciting, you know? And he sat there and Logan walks up to me and he's like, Adam, I'm not going to be in the front section on the patio. And I was like, I don't really care what you want. I'm not the manager. So you're complaining to the wrong person. And right now I came in here with positive energy and you're like effing it up for me. Except it was a little bit more verbal than that. And the next day I get a text from Jeremiah and he's like, I saw you yesterday and I want you to come in for an interview. And I was like, no, absolutely not. We're not doing this. And I talked to my husband. We did an interview thinking, is it something we would ever entertain? And then after the first interview, the pandemic happened and we were just like, no, there's no way. We could never be on a show like this because the whole show is based around trying to get you to pop off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like what skeletons do you have that we can bring up and completely haze you? Like Brock came in like Bambi-eyed, just like Raquel, and he was just excited. He has his girlfriend at the time and he's like, I just want to be there and support her. And they're like, oh, we're going to eat you alive.
And he literally gave everything and got dropped the next season. Like
not enough to get a paycheck, which they don't pay you until season 3. So yeah, you and your husband, it could have caused issues and you would have got just, a few coins, but not
enough. No, it was the same reason that Dana Cathan ended up leaving because on the first season, like Max Boyens, Dana Cathan, all of them, I believe it was $3,000 that they got paid. So they got paid $3,000 for their first season while they still have to work their other jobs. And the problem is when you're filming a TV show like this, you get a schedule and they're like, hey, we need you to show up at this time and you have to be there.
Yeah.
You signed up to do a show. And the next season, they're like, okay, we got you in here. So maybe like $10,000, $20,000. And like you said, Sarah, you don't really start making real money until season 3 and they're still negotiating, but it's a tier. It's a tier system. Wow. I'm just like amazed at how knowledgeable you are about all of the behind the scenes. You guys are really on it.
Did you ever have any interaction with Andros, James's dad?
No. Always his mom. His mom would always come in and support, and she was just a sweetheart, and she was always so fun to be around. I'm very limited though. I don't want to pretend like I really knew her that well, but
Yeah.
even I just saw this because I was pulling photos. This was so long ago, back in the day, but
Oh wow.
we were like babies at
That's
this
Oh my
point
gosh.
when when they were filming all of this stuff. And
Wow.
Scheana ended up getting me the job at SIR, and I walked in just like when I was watching your videos on the Vanderpump Rules Party Podcast on Instagram, minus the podcast part in the handle.
Yes.
That's okay.
I was sitting there and I saw where one of the paparazzi said Scheana, and somebody goes, "It's Scheana."
That was
was me.
Sarah.
Oh, was that you?
Yeah.
Oh, see?
And then I had to do that for Erica,
Yeah, I'm
Um,
like, this is actually hilarious. And when I first went in for my interview, Sheena's like, I was working with her at the time fiance Mike Shea at Malibu Fish Grill, and she's like, "Why are you working here? You have to work at SIR." And I'm like, I don't even know what that is. I was just happy I had a job, and I ended up
Wait,
going.
she said
in-
you were too cute to work at Malibu Grill, that you needed to come to SIR.
Yeah, she was.
Don't
she was
forget
very,
that part.
She was very sweet about it. She was very sweet. She
That's
was. She's
cool.
always full of compliments, and she's always making people feel good for sure. But then I walked in so dumb, and I did an interview with Natalie, who is one of the partners,
Mhm.
and she's like, "So who do you know again?" And I was like, "Good friends over here with Scheana." And she's like, she looked at me just like, "Okay, well, we will be giving you a call." And she never gave me a call. And I like harassed like for weeks after Scheana told me what I could potentially make there. I'm like, "Hi, I don't care if you need me to wash dishes. I'll start at the bottom. I'm okay. I'm 20 years old. I have no money and I need to pay my bills. I'm desperate." And I said, "I also don't know your show, so I'm not a fan. So I'm not coming in to be weird." And finally, I think somebody quit like on a whim, and I called at the right time. And she's like, "You're very annoying, but yes, we will let you come in." So
That's awesome.
That's
how
funny.
it was the persistence of it all. But
Nice.
oh man. So
How was Peter as your manager?
Peter is
You can sandoval it and say no comment.
no, I wouldn't say that. I really like Peter. I think that he's great. As a manager, he's a hard worker.
Yeah.
I think, now I'm not so surprised by a lot of the personalities, because I think you have to have, just like Andy said on Watch What Happens Live, sometimes an element of like narcissism or like a little bit of an ego to be on a reality TV show. And when I met Peter, I've never seen somebody who was so confident and just like, yeah, like kind of like a cartoon, like, yeah. And would like smile at you and look and just be like, "I'm the guy. I'm Peter, SIR manager." And I remember thinking like, am I in a cartoon? Like, what is this? But he was always so great. So I have nothing negative to say about Peter. And he really is like, he is there from the start of the shift to the end of the shift. And if you mess up, if you do anything, like there's no getting around Peter. But Peter didn't necessarily make me as nervous as Pandora. Pandora was a whole nother. I mean, Pandora is on everything. And even the first time I met her, I walked up and I'm just, again, so young and just smiling. And I had still from Tennessee, a little Southern twang. So I talked like this a little bit.
Nice.
And I was like, "Hi, Pandora. I'm so excited to meet you. And thank you so much for the opportunity." And she was like, "I'm looking at dirty glasses right now. Why?" She's like, "We're already open. Why are these not polished?" And I was like, "Oh my God, I don't know. I don't polish them." She's like, "You don't polish them? She's like, "Do you work here and you see it's dirty?" And I was like, "Oh my God, I'm sorry. I'm saying the wrong thing." And I remember telling her, "I'm putting my foot in my mouth. I apologize. I'm going to go polish all of them right now and anything else you want me to do." And I like took off and I went in the bathroom and I was like, "Don't lose this job." But now I love Pandora, but she does.
Yeah.
She's really good at her job.
Interesting. That I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Peter's great at his job. I would be intimidated by Pandora too. She just has this air about her. Like, I love her, but I'd be Yeah.
She's like one of those people where you'd have to like, I've worked for someone like Pandora before where you have to like keep a notebook and like make notes and like be like, it's like, it gives you like anxiety working for them because you know, like their expectations are so high. You better be like checking all of those things off, you know?
Yeah, no. And when I was there, actually, after I left Sir, I ended up moving again. Like I left with Jason. My husband went to Thailand, and then we moved to New York, and we eventually came back to LA. And it was when they started opening up TomTom, and that's when I, went back. They were filming interviews, and I went and did the interview because my husband was managing Pump at the time. So he's like, here, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the restaurant in Santa Monica called Lunetta.
No.
It's this great little restaurant for brunch and stuff, but I'm like, if they're opening a new Vanderpump restaurant, I know that we can make, a lot more money there, like waiting tables, whatever. And I got the job. I start working at TomTom, and lo and behold, it's Pandora. Pandora is training everybody. She's going through the menus. She's going through the tastings, everything. And I remember walking up and we were doing the mock service, and I put a drink in the POS, and it came out, and it was one of the green matcha drinks at TomTom.
Yeah.
And I walk up and I went to grab it, and she's like, what table are you going to? And I said, the one over there. And she's like, what's the number? I was like, table 31. And she's like, okay, what's this drink? And I forgot now, but I told her the name, and she's like, what's in it? I was like, Pandora, I'm so sorry, but I have a full section right now. I need to drop this off really quick. And I beelined it for the bathroom. And I remember looking at it, and I came back and I was like, okay, now that everyone's settled, what's in the drink is this, and this.
Smart.
And she looks at me and she goes, you went in the back and you read the menu. I was like, you're giving me PTSD from Sir.
Oh
and
my
she started
God.
but it's just, she's great. And nothing negative about her.
That's what she's good at. Yeah.
She kills it. She absolutely kills it. And she's on point. And then at the minute that she knows that she can trust you within the business and that you know what you're doing, she's relaxed. And then it's really fun to be around because she's not like, okay, well, you don't know what you're doing. So that kind of makes you a liability, and you're an extension, a representation of us. And if you don't know anything, that's a problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Adam, I have to tell you, last night I watched your after show.
Oh.
That was like the funnest thing ever. I want to start doing something like that too. Like all of the comments, and I love your merch is so stinking cute. We want to do a giveaway of your merch on our podcast because I love the cup. I love it's so cute. I can't wait to order some.
Mike, well, no, tell me what you, tell me a couple things that you want me to send over, and I'll send it to you guys to do.
Okay, like I love that Scandival cup, and I loved the one where the girl buy all that. It's so cute.
I'm gonna bring it up real quick, and we're gonna pick some things to give away on the podcast.
Sarah, wait till you see how cute it is.
Jason just restocked the merch yesterday. I got a call from my aunt in California, and she's like, oh, why can't I order? She was in the doctor's office, and she was asking me, she works at a doctor's office, and she was asking me about who were the two guys that got into the fight at the reunion. And I said, listen, right now the cast is kind of gagged. Like they can't talk about anything. And if it comes out, they'll get in a lot of trouble. So your guess right now is as good as mine. But yeah, they were like, okay, we're ordering merch, and Jason restocked it. What should we send you?
Nice.
Let's see. What do you think our listeners would like? Let's see.
I think that so far everybody keeps getting the Tom Girl Buy merch.
Yes.
And
I think things that aren't sized are better for a universal giveaway because
yeah.
Like a hat or a cup or a.
Okay, so like a tumbler and maybe a mug, and then maybe I can have Jason throw the Scandival team Ariana on a hat, and we can send that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that would be so awesome.
Yeah,
Thank
absolutely.
you.
No, of course. Thank you. Thank you for even just giving me the merch plug. I mean,
yeah. Oh my, I was so impressed with how you bring your screens up. It was such an interactive experience last night. I was like, and hearing the people chime in when you were reading the comments and stuff. I was like, that is so fun because as soon as you finish the show, you want to talk to your friends about what's going on. That's what we podcast right after and go through everything. But literally the thing I'm most excited about for next episode, is the swim up pools. I want to know who has the swim up pools, who's going to be swimming by.
I was saying,
I can't wait for Mexico.
Is that why Raquel didn't get a swim up room? Because originally she was, but then she changed it. Now she says she changed it because she didn't want to like swim up on James and Allie. Or
But
did
she also
change
mentioned
it?
privacy.
I think
Yeah,
she
because
changed
she
it because she
needed
didn't want
pri-
anybody to be able to swim up, and she wanted to have it as private as possible because she was already doing this stuff with Tom.
Exactly.
Shady,
Yikes.
shady. I mean, first of all, nobody says, like, you're not going there unless you're going there with some crazy plan. Like, you're just single living your best life. Nobody says, you know what? I opted out from the pool on my suite. Instead, like that cute little balcony with like the little bistro style outdoor, table with the
Looking at the
chairs
parking lot.
with view of the parking lot. Like, that is so much more my style. Who needs a pool?
A
And-
swim
And then,
up
and then
pool.
why did everyone else have like a king size bed and Tom and Ariana had 2 queens? Like, what the
Oh.
heck?
Yeah,
Like, they're
Katie
trying to
and
have.
Christina had a king. And
Yes.
Tom and Ariana had 2 beds.
They're all like throwing themselves on the bed, and then you go into Tom and Ariana's room, and it's 2 queens. Like, come on.
I also, well, no, I was thinking in my head, I'm like, this is total conspiracy, but I wonder if Tom asked for 2 beds, but I doubt he would have asked for 2 beds because then
I mean, sometimes it's nice to go from one to, you have one. I don't know. Like, sometimes I don't mind having 2, but it was just like I felt like it was another funny detail where it was like everyone else had a king bed,
Yeah.
my God, if I could travel with Jason everywhere and just get 2 separate beds, I would put 2 separate beds in my room now.
Me too. Me too. That's why I was like, I kind of get it, but it was like just a funny
It's
note.
just through this lens. We have to look at that way and be like, why are they the only ones?
Yeah, this is questionable. Do you really believe that Tom Schwartz didn't know until a month before?
No.
No.
He knew far before. They were in Big Bear in January.
I also have another theory that I feel like Tom and Ariana introduced Raquel to Molly. And it was like the first time that like they like made it like a safe environment for her, created like a brother sister sort of thing going on. She tried it. She got the galaxy light. She's into the galaxy light now. She's like this enlightened person. And that was like another way that they got close and like where more betrayal happened. I never saw Raquel do anything like that before. Like, it seems like she's like this new free person.
Right.
In some of the footage that I've seen. And I feel like that would like possibly explain how they like potentially got close without anyone maybe thinking anything of it, because, they were just all
blaming it on that.
Yeah.
Well, even kind of going back to last night when we see at Schwartz and Sandy's, and I know this isn't verbatim what Tom Schwartz said, but Raquel brought up the art installation, and he's like, yeah, it was something like it being about this like outer body experience,
Yeah, he's like, come to the portal or something.
The portal, yes.
Yeah.
And she's like, and her eyes just get real big, like, I would love to go to the portal. Like, almost like you're microdosing on shrooms or something.
Yes.
While you go stand under this freaking sound bath of an art installation. And that does make you kind of like, oh, it's like when somebody dabbles a little bit and they start maybe, okay, medical marijuana. And then those things.
It kind of like becomes like their personality trait, because like they're so excited about it and it's so new. And she like we've talked about, she has confidence struggles in the past. And so when you take a substance like that, like you can open up a little bit, and she probably felt like she could be more herself around these people. And I don't know, that could be something.
I mean, whatever this was, it's crazy to hear too. Lala just did Jeff Lewis, and I know that you guys heard about this, but I think you ladies know 10 times more than I know at this point. Because when you're throwing Jeremiah out there and you know like what's going on,
you know what? We get like, we actually like, it's our like, we go as deep as we can and we dissect every single thing, and sometimes to a fault where we start knowing too much. So then we have to like come back to being like, this is a reality show, because sometimes we get a little too deep. So
you're like, we got this.
And we need to fact check with people like you that are in it and live it.
Yeah.
And,
So it's so nice to hear you talk about, people that or like how they actually do it, because we have our theories, but we don't know.
You ladies seem pretty spot on a lot of things that you're throwing at me today. So I love it. And it makes it that much more fun to have this conversation and even do this collaboration, because it's like, oh, you're in it. You're in the game.
Yes.
And even though you might be piecing things together and be like, is it this or is it that? It sounds like you're really just kind of sticking with your gut and your intuition, and you're hitting a lot of the nails on the head over here. Did you guys go to Excuse me. That is so rude. Did you ladies go to BravoCon?
I did.
Sarah did.
You did?
Yeah.
Did you? Okay. Well, are you going to Vegas this year?
Is it confirmed Vegas?
It's going to be Vegas. I think actually,
Yes.
I think this was on Bravo yesterday.
Okay.
Don't come for me unless I send 2 announcements for you tomorrow. I'm guessing because 1, that's Kenya Moore's line, and we already know that Love B. Scott is getting the exclusive trailer drop for Real Housewives of Atlanta this week. And then 2, I have 2 theories. And since you guys are all about the conspiracy theories, I'm going to pick your brain on this for 2 seconds. Okay, are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so for sure, because what happened was, just to give you a little bit of context with this, the first year of BravoCon, they had BravoCon and it was in 3 different locations. So people had to go from one point A to point B to point C. And one of the biggest, I guess the feedback, one of the things that they heard most was, wow, this is really annoying because we wish everything was in the same place, like the Javits Center last year, right?
Right.
Except for Andy's Legends Ball, but like the Javits Center. But then they put everyone in the Javits Center and it was so expensive in New York City that they had to start selling more tickets. Now, Sarah, if you were there, I don't know if you went to the Beverly Hills panel, but it was pandemonium.
Yes.
And people were like running each other over.
Rushing.
Yeah.
I was in the middle of people rushing and I was like, ah.
So we literally bumped elbows, you and I. And the people are just going in there. And the guy at first, I'm walking up with my friend Emily, and we're walking in, and we had these like passes to go whatever. So we're going through, and all of a sudden I hear like, run. And I see all of the curtains open up and people just go. It reminded me, I keep saying this, like of the Lion King when Mufasa gets hit by like the wildebeest, because it was a stampede. And
Yes.
I even said to Emily,
your VIP did not matter.
no, it didn't matter. I got like elbowed in the back and I like got shoved forward, and I'm like, what the hell is happening here? So I think what happened was the Javits Center was so expensive. So in order to make up for the money, they needed to sell more tickets, which I think this year what they're trying to do is, okay, Vegas convention centers are a little bit cheaper.
Conducive.
Yeah. And
well, you can have more of a community because everybody can stay in one hotel and, one big, I mean, I go to Vegas a lot for conventions. So while I'm so sick of Vegas, 1,000,000%, it's just the easiest place for a convention.
Yeah.
And everyone was all over New York City. And then my phone kept dying, right? And there was no outlets. It was dead. I called an Uber, but then it died. So I could never find my Uber. I ended up having to take a pedicab because my feet hurt so bad. My phone was dead. I'm just like, just take me. I don't care what it costs. So like there was nowhere to charge your phones, at least that I could find. And it was just, everything was far away. And so I think logistically Vegas will be better. I wasn't excited to go back if it was going to be in the same spot, but Vegas, I can easily do that.
Can you imagine how Lisa's restaurants are going to pop off?
Oh my gosh. Well, it was between, technically, they were entertaining the idea of Los Angeles or Las Vegas. I was just hoping, I was like, please don't be in Los Angeles. Just because one, that would be a nightmare for everybody, because if fans are coming in of the, the show, if they're coming in and they don't have a car, then it's like, it's not exactly like New York offers that walkability factor, right? And so would Vegas, because once you pinpoint where they're going to have it, right?
Yeah.
Once they announce the tickets, you can walk and you can base your hotel around that. And it's not like that's the only thing that's happening. It's freaking Vegas.
Yeah.
So I agree with you though, Sarah. It's not like my most favorite place to go, but I'm down for a trip for BravoCon.
Yeah. I mean, in Los Angeles would be the same thing with New York. It'll be cheaper, but everyone's going to be spread out. So Las Vegas, you can just, the whole casino is going to be filled with BravoCon people. So people can make friends more easily.
People can make friends. So. All right. Well, I wanted to ask you another question before we end up starting to wrap up. We obviously know that there was a huge blowout at this reunion, which was to be expected. We saw this coming. Now we've heard... I'm so sick of not knowing. I'm like, stop gagging the talent. But we've heard it was Tom and Tom. Then we heard it was Schwartz and James. Then we heard it was Sandoval and James. But we know it's 2 guys. Do you have any conspiracy theories about this?
I have a feeling that Schwartz is going to blow up, which will surprise people because he normally doesn't. And when he does, it's like that. My husband is kind of like this. Like he won't, like, I can do a trillion things and then like once in a while he'll blow up. And when he does, it's like everything kind of comes out. I feel like, and we've seen him do that on the show and it's like always pretty exciting when he does. So I'm hoping it's between him and, I don't know, maybe James or something.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, I would love it to be between Tom and Tom because, like, you know, Schwartz, his dad was dying, his brother was sick, he was going through divorce, losing his house. Now Tom is off with his band, so he's trying to open Schwartz and Sandy's. And now, after all of this, when they finally get it open, Sandoval single-handedly puts the business at risk. And, you know, right, it's thriving right now, but that could die out.
Yeah.
And I could see maybe he's finally going to snap. It's very hard to imagine Schwartz snapping, but I think it could be due. And if that's directed at Sandoval, I think that's who deserves it. So I would like to see that, but
I mean, fine. When you've invested everything into a business and someone else who you trust,
he lost his marriage, like he has put it on the line.
Yeah, everything's on the line. It kind of that's when people become dangerous because you get pushed to a point where it's like, at this point, I'm just going to pop off because what else do I have to lose? I feel like I'm losing everything. And for Sandoval, this was obviously extremely reckless, but I feel like, gosh, Ariana and Katie, they're going to win so hard with this Something About Her just based off of the location alone and the fact that I don't know. I was never this way when I moved to LA. A lot of my friends were, but they would eat like birds and just kind of like, my gosh, I'm drinking a Tito's soda. It's the skinny girl drink, and I'm having a kale salad or some new fancy,
juice.
Yeah, there's always like a trendy new thing that's like healthy. And I was just like, give me all the cheeseburgers and all the subs and all of it. And so with them doing this, I'm like, you guys are hitting it right on the head because you have all of the drunk people coming out from the Abbey and stuff. And everybody's going to be like, oh, I need some substance. And they all walk to the same, they take their drunk behinds, which is really dangerous. And they walk to that parking structure with the big elephant painted on it. And they get in their cars. And on the way home, they're like, stop by McDonald's, stop by Taco Bell. But now,
totally.
If they're open for this, which I hope they are, you can stop and get a sandwich. Perfect.
So you think they're locked into that location?
Do you know something I don't?
Maybe.
I mean,
we have been keeping our eye on the location since they announced it. And at first they had like their Something About Her sign in there, just like they did when they filmed. Then like a month later, we checked, the sign was gone. It's exactly the same way. And then I was at See You Next Tuesday, last Tuesday, and I filmed a little Instagram so people could see, like I walked from SUR to the location to show people how close it is. And it's still like completely vacant in there, nothing being done. And then we popped into the neighboring little, like there's like a little sandwich shop, coffee shop right there also. And I was like, hey, like what's going on with the Something About Her? Like, is that still happening? What's going on? And they're like, last we heard is like, it's not happening. It's like, no one's moving in there. So we were like, but they're saying that it is. So maybe they just haven't done anything yet.
Well, but then also, why would you, I mean, I would assume that even if that wasn't the location, they would be moving forward, considering it would look silly with the way that they launched the merch. They should have just done Team Ariana merch and not Something About Her merch, because then that just looks like, oh, maybe not the best. But
or just maybe it's not the location or they just haven't moved forward yet. You know, I don't know. But like to be paying rent at that location is where nothing happening is crazy.
Wait, so that would have been, because this happened in August, the wedding where they secured the location, which means that it was already vacant at the time. And anyone who owns a building in Los Angeles, they're trying to rent it out as soon as possible because they're essentially the ones who are paying for it. And that's just costing them money, which is not the point of owning a building. So September, October, November, December, January, February, March, that would be already $56,000 out of their own money in just rent alone without opening a business. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're just letting them keep it vacant, and then once they start, maybe Lisa knows someone, or I don't know.
Wow.
I hope it is. It's very small, but it's cute.
Yeah, I'm gonna
And
post that video on the Instagram right now so you guys can check it out and see, like, because I go into the window and everything so you can look in.
Wait, just by the way, because guys, we have almost 1,000 people in the room. I want to go ahead and bring this up really quick
Mhm.
because these ladies, you have to follow them on Instagram. They have everything on their Instagram.
Oh my
and
gosh, we just started like really using Instagram, and thank you everyone so much for the support on there because we didn't even know we could have that support on there.
No, I mean, even when you guys originally got like I'm gonna mute this really quick, but oh yeah, like this is when it was like Scheana, it's Scheana. I
Yeah.
was just dying laughing. I'm like,
And
that
then he
would've
said it
been-
correctly after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he said, oh, to see, it's like, thank God we had Sarah and Holly because that's what we needed. I mean, but you guys are really getting all of the content on here. And
And then we were the ones also at Tom Sandoval's concert after Scandoval broke that yelled Team Ariana. That was crazy too. That's really when we blew up. So that
Wait,
was
were you also there when Ariana made her first appearance?
yes. Yeah, we went to her comedy show also.
Make
Oh,
that sandwich. Yeah.
My gosh.
And
There is
then the
like,
Shopify event. So March was a lot of trips to LA.
Yeah, so it's like it's so satisfying that it's like just to be on this with you and to like be doing all this stuff is like it's so awesome.
wait, that's so fun. Wait, so you're not in LA?
We're in
I'm in
Orange
San Diego.
County and San
I'm in
Diego,
San-
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you're not okay. So San Diego's a little bit more of a hike,
Mhm.
but Orange County's like, I mean, what? So you're an hour away then, Holly?
Yeah, it takes me about an hour.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I used to have to drive to Orange County all the time. It was either Orange County or Malibu if you wanted to take your dogs to the beach because there was nowhere in Los
Oh,
Angeles
yeah.
to do so.
Yes.
Yeah, Huntington Beach is where
The dog
Holly
beach,
lives, and
yeah.
I lived off Golden West. There's the big dog beach. If you go there.
Wow. I don't remember the names of them, but I really enjoyed Orange County. Again, before I let you go, oh, sorry, I'm just like banging things. Are you guys excited for the Real Housewives of Orange County trailer, especially with Tamara coming back? Or are you like,
Yeah.
Yes.
And Andy said it's one of the best seasons ever, or at least in a long time. So finally, we're back.
we're
Yeah.
back. This was like a
Yeah.
long time coming. We needed to get this back. I'm really excited too because we have just because I feel like I've always been a big fan of Tamra Judge. I'm gonna bring this up really quick. I've always been a big fan of Tamra Judge, and then I got like the not so good end of everything with Tamra and Teddy when the whole Jen Shaw of it all happened because I was at the Gansevoort when
Yeah.
everybody saw each other and Tamara went on and said Jen said that she's not going to jail and that she's crashing Watch What Happens Live, and I'm like, I had the same conversation with her and that is not what she said to me. And Tamara was just pretty much like, I don't care what she said to you, I'm telling you what she said. And I'm like, okay. And then I did another video about Teddy joking around saying that Lisa Vanderpump probably paid for this whole scandal.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And that was another time where I got ripped for that because she was like, Adam, this is hypocrisy. And I'm like, she's like, now everyone's going to attack me. And it's going to be all of these different, trolls that have dog avatars and they're all going to come after me because of this. And I'm like, Teddy, you're saying things to get the clicks, right? You want the reactions. That's exactly what you're getting. You're getting the reactions. So I wouldn't be so like, you can't be just like upset about that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I
I
heard about that. Yeah, I saw your interviews. I loved your Salt Lake work. I mean, hats off. Like your Mary Cosby family interview stuff. I was like front and center riveted. I'm like, oh my God, this is so good. And then your Jen Shaw stuff, I was like, oh. And then, on top of it, obviously your Sir and Tom authenticity. That's why I like to listen to your stories. And when we talk about them, we make sure we credit you and direct people your way because,
you
Might
guys
as well go right to the source.
I know you want to. I know we have to end this really quick. But did you guys see the two stories that it looks like they broke this morning? One that they are still filming. There's still cameras up. Apparently, someone on Reddit said production with security is filming at Raquel's apartment right now. And then there's also a Page 6 article saying that Raquel spent the night at Tom's house while Ariana was away. Like there's like photos of her like with her weekend bag unloading from the car.
That's sick.
It is sick, and I'm not surprised by that at all. I'm not surprised.
It just keeps going. It's like
she was in
every day.
Mexico.
Every day, it's like there's new stuff. It's just crazy.
Wait, while she was in Mexico for her friend's wedding?
I'm not sure. I was just thinking she was just in Mexico.
I don't know. The article just came. I can't read it because obviously we're recording right now. But I just saw it and I was like, oh my gosh.
That would make sense though, because she's out of the country. No chance of like coming home early.
Oh.
It looks like it's like current, like today. I don't know.
Well, we will find out.
Well, yeah. So
I was just gonna say, I know that this is, and it's okay because I know that Tamara lives for this, but when I got like reamed by Teddy about everything, I said to her, I was like, you do things because you get she's like, you think I want to cover these things like Heather Gay's black eye? I'm like, well, you for sure do cover them. And you guys post a 30-second clip, which sends everybody over to the podcast, which keeps the podcast trending. So you do a pretty good job at doing it if you don't necessarily want to do it. So I like every once in a while asking other Bravo talent, especially ones who have housewives, what they think about other housewives podcasts. So I had Teresa Giudice on the other day and I asked her, I was like, what do we think about, and for those of you guys in the live chat, if you didn't see this, we just posted this a little bit ago. I asked her, what do you think about Two Teas in a Pod? And she said this. Two Teas in a Pod heavily focuses on Tamara and Teddy. They heavily focus on Bravo Hot Topics, but I get people.
And they're shit starters, right?
I mean, listen, sometimes you said it. You said it, Teresa. I didn't say that because Two Teas in a Pod. I mean, I felt like, I'm like, Teresa, you said, and I had to ask, I'm like, do you want me to cut that out? And she's like, no, I said what I said. I was like, wow, to be a housewife. Thank God you guys get paid the big bucks because you do not hold back.
They run their mouths.
That's fun.
They just don't care. They're like, we understand the assignment.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's awesome. I'm excited to hear that interview.
Oh yeah, definitely. Please, we have so many fun ones coming up. So anytime you guys like, if you ever want to, I would love to have you ladies back on. It was so fun chatting with you. And for those who don't know where they can find you, can you let them know?
Go for it, Holly.
Yeah, you can find us on any podcast platform or Vanderpump Rules Party. We also have a private Facebook group. Come join that. We put content in there constantly. It's nice and safe and closed. You can find our Instagram. It's Vanderpump Rules Party. I'm H to the Wood. Holly and Sarah is at Sarah COC.
And we have Patreon where we do bonus episodes. Or sometimes, Adam, like your members only. You have things that you want to say maybe behind a wall because you don't want it necessarily so public, but it's juicy and you want to share with your friends that support you, right? So we kind of do the same thing behind our Patreon wall, is just either bonus content or extra juicy stuff that we don't want to blast like so universally.
At first I was like, yes, this is private. And then somebody sent me a Reddit and I'm like, okay. Guys, you're taking away from the privacy of it all. That is not fair.
Yeah. Or they send clips to people or something.
It still happens, but it's minimized, and you just got to remind your people and keep an eye on things and who's doing what.
Yeah, and I feel like you ladies do that so well. So hey, thank you for giving us all of the content. And we are going to keep on watching. And definitely everyone, Vanderpump Rules Party. It's super easy to type in Vanderpump Rules Party on Instagram. And then like Holly and Sarah said, you can literally see right here that they have their own personal Instagram handles. And then if you want to go check them out, click on vanderpumprulesparty.com. And if you guys forget this, or if you're part of the replay crew, we will have all of that information right here in the description of this video. Also, Sarah and Holly, let me know just shoot me over a DM or I'll send you my phone number and just let me know about what merch to do for a giveaway because that's so exciting and I would love to do that.
Yay.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies, for joining me.
Okay.
All right. Talk
Bye.
to you later.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, guys, that was Sarah and Holly from Vanderpump Rules Party. They have their podcast and you don't want to miss them because as you saw, they are on the front lines of everything. Now, we're going to keep all of the information coming to you. We have more videos coming your way, but don't forget, we have tomorrow our morning meeting. I don't know if you guys are, if you are in fact new to the channel, you can go subscribe like it says on the banner below to Up and Adam channel 2. I'll go ahead and bring that up as well because we are going to be putting up the morning meeting today. And then we talk about everything that we've done for the week and what we have going on over the weekend, sort of as a recap, but it's me, Jason, and Shaylee. It's not anything that you want to miss. And also Jason just put up, it's kind of where it's like our messy little sister HWY channel. We have the Bravo after parties. We have the vlogs. We have the morning meetings. Take a look right here. You can check it out. This is Jason's behind the scenes of one of the most famous below deck yachts. It was on for 4 seasons. It used to be known as My Scheana. I mean, all of it. Just go check it out. Let us know what you think. And if you do, make sure you get subscribed. We love you guys so much. Smash that like button. And thank you to everyone in the live chat. Thank you guys for being so respectful. Thank you to our mods. Thank you for our super chats. And just thank you for being a part of the Addams family. I can't say thank you enough. I'm in a thankful mood. Bye, guys. I'm being annoying. Love you.